Hi, welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show. It's our monthly visit with Dr. Pennington. I'm Sean Anderson, your host, and Dr. Pennington joins us now. Short board meeting the other night, kind of happens that way this time of year as we get closer to the end of the school year. Just a few things that were really highlights of the meeting. The annual Developmental Education Report. This used to be by a different name, but what is it now?
So what this report is each year the State Board of Regents sends us a report that tells us how many students that were freshmen in college the year before were required to take either developmental or remedial class. You can call it, those are the two terms that they use. So what happens because most of us would think, okay, well, somebody's going to college, why do they have to take a remedial class? So what happens is when a student takes the ACT test, and when the regents for the various universities set their cut scores for admission to college, they look at an overall score. So at University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, that score is a 24. So you may have heard somebody say, well, I have to have a 24 ACT score to get into OSU. That's not really true. A 24, or there are other criteria. So when students get in on the other criteria, or maybe they made a 24 on the ACT, but each of the ACT has subsections. It has an English subsection, a science subsection, a reading/social studies subsection, and a science subsection. And the universities have set minimum level ACT scores for certain courses. So you might have a 24 on your ACT, but you have an 18 in math. And the subscore in math that they want you to have might be a 20. So if you don't have that specific ACT score, then they're going to require you to take a class that is below what they consider the entry-level class to be. And that varies among universities. And we've done this for a long time. So we get a report every year that identifies, it doesn't identify specific students, it just tells us, for example, that we had 12 students that across all the complete junior college, four-year state colleges, Oklahoma State, OU, University of Oklahoma, that we had 12 students that, depending upon where they were going to school at, had to take one of these classes. If you look at it overall, 36% of our freshman class that started college in the fall of 2015 had to take a remedial class. So obviously we want that number to be lower. 36% is less than the state average is about 39%. It's the highest we've been in a long time, and what we talked about at the board meeting is that for whatever reason, typically when we see those scores, about 7% of our students who are college freshmen don't meet the reading cut score. And this year it was 26%. So that's a huge increase, and we really don't know why it is. Usually the language arts number and the reading number are just about the same. So our language arts was still at that 6-7%, but we had this dramatic increase in reading, and we don't know why. We had a low number in math. Mathematics is the area that usually catches most students. That threshold they have for students to take college algebra, a lot of kids don't meet that, but we were actually, our math score was a little bit lower this time, and we didn't have anybody that didn't meet the standard in science. So, again, you get a report like this, they don't tell you who the students are, so you don't know who the students are. We're getting the information in the spring of 2017. This is telling us about students that graduated 2 years ago. So there's value in the report, but there's not a lot of things you can do about what that report tells you. So obviously, we're going to we'll look at the courses we offer, where we know our course sequence is in line with what the regents want us to do. The thing that happens sometimes, though, we have a curriculum or a course of study that the Regents recommends for students to take if they're going to go to college.
Right.
But that you don't have to take that to go to college. And so we will have students that did not take what we would consider to be college preparatory coursework, and they don't maybe apply to a four-year university, but they'll decide in the summer after they've graduated from high school, well, I think I'll try college. And so they'll go to NOC or some other community college, and then they'll take their ACT test then, but that reflects on our scores, and our expectation would be that if you didn't complete the college preparatory coursework, that you probably are going to need to take some remedial stuff. And look, I'm glad kids go to college. If every student that graduated from Ponca City High School decided they wanted to go to college someday, and because of that our college remediation rates went up, that's fine.
Right.
We want students to do whatever it is they choose to do. But anyway, so we talked about that quite a bit.
It helps you keep it in perspective.
It does,
though.
and if you look at it, if you look, and this is all it will be on the district website here in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the report, what you'll see is if you take the 21 largest high schools in the state of Oklahoma, or the 21 largest school districts, because what the report can do is it takes a district like Moore that has 3 high schools and combines them into one score. So if you look at that, we're about 10th and 11th on that list of 21. Edmond public schools, their high schools have the lowest remediation, somewhere around 12%. There are some schools that are in that 21 largest school districts that have remediation rates in the 40s and 50s. So there's really lots of factors. Typically, it's like a lot of any standard ACT test is a standardized test.
Right.
And with any standardized test, if you know the income level of the students that take it, you can pretty much make some predictions on how students are going to score. And so what you would expect is the more affluent districts in the state have very low remediation rates. Oklahoma City and Tulsa, Muskogee have higher remediation rates. Okay. So anyway,
socioeconomic
plays a big role.
Plays a big role. Well, coming up very soon, graduation, and every year the backup plan, if you can't have graduation at Solon Stadium because of the weather, is to go into Robson Fieldhouse. That is not an option this year because of upgrades at Robson, and so that was a very important subject to talk about at the board meeting.
Right.
So what are you going to do? Really?
Okay, so we're going to go to First Baptist Church.
Okay.
First Baptist Church has been gracious to open their facility to us. Obviously, that facility is, because of the way we have to use that, in other words, we have to set students in the seating area in the pews of the church, so you don't get to use the entire church auditorium to house people who want to watch graduation. So because of that, we will use the First Baptist Church Sanctuary. We will also use the First Baptist Church Assembly Center, which is kind of a fellowship hall area that has 2 screens in it that people will be able to watch graduation from there. We will also live stream graduation to the Howell Auditorium at the high school if people want to watch it there. And for the last 2 years, we've live streamed the graduation anyway, so you can sit on your home and watch it on your laptop if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. I've done that. It works perfectly.
It works perfectly.
Yeah.
The key is that students this year will only receive 3 rain-out tickets. So if your plan is that you're having a big family event for graduation, then your son or daughter needs to be negotiating with other students who don't have a lot of family coming to graduation.
Right.
And we obviously we're hoping that the weather it's a great, beautiful day. As the mayor says, another beautiful day in Ponca City. We're hoping for a beautiful day in Ponca City on, I think graduation is Friday, May 19th. So we're hoping for a beautiful day. and there will still be some adjustments anyway because of construction at the stadium.
Sure.
All of the south side bleachers will not be available like they have in the past. So it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, it's going to be it's not going to be where we've kind of have a standing room only. Of course, we've always got the north bleachers are always available. So,
right.
So those have always been there. So bottom line is we'll be at First Baptist Church. You need to make sure your child knows where their 3 tickets are so you can have those 3 tickets.
Right.
You need to barter, negotiate for additional tickets if you want them with other students. Be prepared. In the past, we've had people show up at noon to put blankets out and that kind of stuff to reserve seats. Again, the stadium is a construction site this year, so we do not anticipate that we'll be letting people in at noon. There will be construction going on that day.
Sure.
So it's going to be a little bit different. It's always inconvenient when you have something like this going on, but at the end of the day, we think that what we're going to do at Rob's Fieldhouse, what we're going to do at the football stadium, are going to be tremendous improvements to our district and to our community, and it'll be a little inconvenient, but it'll be well worth it.
Absolutely. And speaking of construction, there were some budget considerations concerning construction projects, and
what the board did Monday is just put some kind of put the final stamp of approval on the weight room construction project, on the work we're doing at Garfield to strengthen the security of that building, the air conditioning units that we're going to be in repairs to the air conditioning system. We're going to be making it east. So we just kind of put the final approval on that, and hopefully at the next board meeting we'll be approving making the initial improvements on the final phase of bids that we have to come in on the concert hall.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Lots of exciting things going on.
A lot of exciting things going on. And that's gonna do it. Dr. Pennington, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Pennington, and our monthly board wrap-up show right here. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and thank you very much for watching.